Welcome to the Purple Sands Recap. As a disclaimer, this is not all of the events that happened during the last few months while I've been away from streaming, but still running all of our games. These are just the more important, most defining events that transpire. If you're interested in learning about everything that happened while the streams were offline, you can go ahead and join our Patreon at any of the lower tiers, and we do have most of our sessions posted publicly in our Discord server. So if you are interested in checking out any of that, you can just go ahead and click through all of those links and get there. So, where last we left off in Jakit's tomb, the party was searching for magical ancient items or secrets that they could utilize to help fight against Silk and the Iaman. This was somewhat fruitful, but not as fruitful as they were hoping for. They traveled to Mount Dormant to organize all of the nomadic tribes of Abaqua for the casino assault. The party met up with Gray, a cleric of Pastille, who wished to help the party in stopping Silk since, well, genocide is bad, even in evil religions. Kel, Monkey, and Fenrith heard that the Iaman were trying to set up some sort of trap in Oracle's Bet, where they would use the Purple Sands in order to turn the would-be safe haven during the battle into a bloodthirsty brawl between all of the individuals who were stuck there. Luckily, the party had managed to stop and murder all of the Iaman fanatics. During this attack, Katarine used her dream spell to communicate with Lakudra, explaining the entire situation and pleading for Lakudra to join their side in the fight. It was only a little bit fruitful since Lakudra has an unwavering trust in Casino and her people. As such, she needed proof, and Katarine put her trust in her party to find proof of their endeavors in Oracle's Bet. In the morning, the party readied themselves for their assault against the Tranquil Harbor. The attack started strong with the majority of Katsoon working to defend the innocent people before the war raged too heavily. The party quickly maneuvered into the Tranquil Harbor, where Kat received a message from Lakudra that their ally Gatash in Spirewatch Arena is now held captive, waiting his execution between them and Silk. Party hurried to this location, encountering a few of the mobs that the Iaman had put there in order to whittle down their resources, sacrificial lambs and all of that. And they managed to get inside, where they found Gatash and a blade held at the ready, forcing them to a standstill. The party had managed to glean something in Gatash's eye and began an assault against all of them. In the last moment, Lakudra betrayed Silk, and her two soldiers betrayed her. Silk managed to free himself from the encounter, as well as Gatash, and the battle began to wage. The party was pushed up against the walls and starting to becoming a little bit more haggard in this situation, but just in time, Gatash managed to do the one thing he was capable of doing, since he's not much of a fighter, which was get a couple of more allies into the fray. Patsy and Gray joined the encounter, and through a very long, grueling battle, managed to put Silk into the ground where he deserved to be. Now, since all of that was done, the party took a few months in order to help revitalize Casino after all of the war that was raged, and gave many of the nomadic tribes a seat at the would-be tribal council table in order to give them a voice and decisions with everything that is going to be made here. After Monkey helps set up a church for himself, and Katarine managed to increase the public relations between Gatash and everybody else of Casino, they decided to join up with one of the other Spaulding family members that Patsy did not like at all, and take him into the Balera coast, the other half of this very large continent that they find themselves on. After they were traveling with this Spaulding for a little while, they found out exactly how grotesque and cruel this family is, and they started devising some type of betrayal against this family to, well, better the people of the world as a whole. To nobody's surprise, they found out that this individual was actually planning on doing some type of sacrificial murder for some unknown ancient entity, just for, well, power and prestige within their already powerful and prestigious family. The party put this individual, like a Pokemon, into a little tiny amulet that Katarine has and banished the item into a faraway location that nobody knows of and has any idea where it is. And I'm sure this is not going to come back to bite anybody in the ass, right? Yeah, totally. Anyways, through their journeys, they also met up with a Glenn towards the beginning of everything, who is this undead individual who's kind of weird and just strange as a whole. After learning of this individual's weird nature a little bit, they just adopted him, as you always do when you're adventurers. Adopt all the strays and put them into your party. They also rediscovered Samdi, who apparently had fled Casino for one reason or another that nobody's choosing to engage or interact with whatsoever. Yeah. So they continued their journey going through the swamps of the Crosslands and managed to find themselves over into the Vineyard, one of the many outposts along the long winding river through the Balara coast. As they were there, they were celebrating the Vida Festival, which is a week-long festival celebrating the transition of summer into autumn and celebrating the transition of life that everybody experiences, starting from birth, going through their midlife crisis, all the way to death. It is a very fun festival towards the beginning of it, and at the end, it's more reflective in nature. Samdi discovered that one of the deckhands was a murder hobo who had a taste for just killing very attractive people. Samdi came to an understanding with this individual where neither of them want to kill each other for any reason, so they're just going to let each other be. And, well, exactly where we left off was Glenn and Monkey celebrating and drinking heavily with this murder hobo, and unknowing that he apparently wants to wear Monkey's skin. That's everything. Thank you for checking in. And don't forget to tune in on Saturday at 12 p.m. EST in order to keep following along the campaign, as all of our streams will be continuing.